Let me know. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this meeting of the Capital Program Committee. It's Thursday, August 10th, a little after 1 p.m. Call this meeting to order. Roll call, Brooke Moore, Howard Matz, Jill Veith, Barry Rector, and myself currently, and Sue Carmel. This meeting is being audio video recorded pursuant to Massachusetts and broadcast all pursuant to Massachusetts general law. Please don't share or say anything you don't want to be seen. And with that, can we get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Barry, on your motion.
Aye.
Jill?
Aye.
Brooke? Howard?
Aye.
Okay, great. And I see Christy's rolling in here.
I can be an aye.
Hey, Christy.
Aye. Sorry about that.
So I think first order of business is not on the agenda. Hopefully the state will forgive us. We want to welcome Brooke Moore, who's our select board rep, and Howard Matz, who is our at-large member. So welcome aboard. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
We're going to move right into no members of the public are present unless a member wants to make a public comment. We'll move right on to discussion of operational matters. Okay, so I think just with respect to meeting procedure, one thing I want to touch on is I don't know who's taking the minutes. Terry has, as you probably all are aware, retired for some time now. So I want to make sure that comments are directed through the chair so I can recognize you by name. If they're using the YouTube AI feature, it will try and parse people out by voice, but it doesn't know their name. So that will help make it a little bit easier for the note taker. I know over at the HDC, it's just killing them. Terry really had it down to she had an art down to a science. I'm going to move quickly through this in deference to all our time. FY24 process review. I think two items there. One is if any members want to comment on what we did or what maybe we want to change. Prior to those comments, what I would like to do is refer the new members to our FY23 report for FY24 capital program recommendations. And that walks you through our process with a fair amount of detail. And that I think will be very helpful for you. And I'd ask that you do that before our next meeting. Any comments on last year's process otherwise from members?
Where's the quickest way to find a link to that?
Pardon me? I
The
can't hear you guys. Is the owl possible to turn that up a little?
I don't know how to do that.
I don't even know how to do that, Steve.
Oh, there's a button on the top of it. One's a plus, one's a minus. I think it does both directions.
I don't see a button on the top of it, Steven.
Maybe it's the lower right. It's somewhere on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least, typically that's how they do those things.
Uh,
Rick, I'm sorry, did you have a question?
yeah. Where's the quickest way to access a link to that report?
Go to the Nantucket website, go to government committees, and our webpage will have it towards the bottom.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, sure. FY25 broad scope approach. We're going to walk through our process the way we have done for the past several years. It seems to be working pretty well. I'm not going to get into the details other than to confirm that that's what we'll be doing. The details are within the report for new members and under towards the tail end. If you look through the index, you'll note it. And I think that pretty much covers that topic. Unless there's comments, this is an opportunity if somebody wants to comment. Okay. I want to get you guys have had a chance to review the schedule that I sent out on the 27th. I want to get a motion to approve that. Oh, wait a minute. Sue, I'm sorry, it printed on both sides. I didn't realize there was anything on the back. The schedule you sent out is the one we've been discussing. Okay, so the one we're reviewing now has 3 changes to it. They're the gating items. Two of them are at the front end, just utility that I require for reminders. And then the other is the, towards the end, the gating item is that we get the free cash and the tax rate information and so on and so forth from the town. I don't think there's anything controversial there.
Okay, could you send me those changes?
Pardon me? Yeah, I will. I'll send that out. I apologize. I thought I did. It might be in my draft folder. So can I get a motion to approve our schedule? Okay, I want to note for the record, Pete Kaiser's here, and Christie, was that your motion?
Was not my motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who made the motion?
That was mine.
Oh, Pete. Hey, great. Thanks. On your motion,
I,
Brooke,
Aye.
Howard,
Aye.
Jill,
Aye.
Barry,
Aye.
and Christie.
Aye.
It's so nice to have a full group. I'm just gonna sweep right in. That'll segue us into attendance policy. Nothing I want to harp on. The last few years, we had Thursday morning meetings. It ran into conflict with the select board's executive session. For at least one season, one of our NPDC members was also a select board member. So that created some quorum issues. Understand they have their duties. But we have rescheduled to the afternoons, and obviously ask that people participate as much as possible. It's important. That's why we're here. Organizational processes, we can jump right into, unless these are here in case people wanted to make a comment on Jill.
So last year and the year before, there was a lot with the airport, and I don't know what they're coming back with this year. But can I just request, like, if there's a day that Brooke isn't able to join us, can we schedule them so that she is there? I want us all to be there, of course, but if we know that Brooke can't be there, that's just one that I feel like their requests are particularly complicated sometimes.
Okay, so airport, point well taken, Jill, thank you. Airport is the fourth Thursday of September, so we should be good there.
Great. Thank you.
And- Yep, sure. Any other organizational process type comments, questions, concerns? Okay. It's not a speak now, forever hold your peace. We're open door. If anything comes up, let me know. Obviously, we need to speak in any detail in public session. Liaison assignments. Sue, I guess what I wanted to find out is, it seems to me like we've got a tight window, but it's doable if maybe we stick to one member or two members as the liaison to a department, as opposed to having a whole group of people and then we have to coordinate schedules with the department head. Do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I guess, you gotta remember I wasn't part of the process at the beginning last year, so this is my first go around for
Sure.
full cycle. So,
So why don't
I would defer to Brian on that in case, he has more historical knowledge about the liaisons to the departments.
okay, and why don't I back up for just a moment? I'll introduce the concept to our new members. So the idea here is that we get a chance to meet with department, a member of a capital program committee gets an opportunity to meet with the department head, primarily with respect to their capital requests for the upcoming year on site. And it gives us an opportunity to kind of round out our understanding, because not only are we getting the information provided in the SIP request form and the background details that the department head uploads to the database, we're getting an opportunity to get feedback from a member who's been on site and had an opportunity to kind of interact and share their experience. We found this particularly useful, for example, with the school and also with sewer department. So Brian, is there any reason not to pick that up? Last year, we didn't do it with COVID. Is there any, the last 2 years, I think, is there any reason not to pick that up? Okay. So I think what I'd like to do is have brought up the topic, and I think what maybe we can just walk through quickly. Bear with me, I gotta. You know, my Lisa teased me, I teased her about bifocals and she said, well, you're gonna need them. And I said, no, I'm not. And now I do. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna walk through departments we have on our schedule and see if there's one or two people who would please volunteer. Please just say your name out loud and Christy, don't volunteer anyone else. As I go, fire,
I'll do that. Brooke,
Brooke, okay, Brooke. Thanks, sorry, I can't hear you there.
And I'll back her up. It's
Barry,
Barry. Yes.
back up. Did you say back up on fire?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, thank you. School,
I'll do the school.
okay, so Jill. Natural resources,
I'll do that. PJ,
PJ. Police Marine,
I can do that.
Christie,
I'll back Christie up on that.
okay. Ireland Home. I'll do Ireland Home. Anyone else?
Steve, it's Barry. If you need backup on that, let me know.
Okay, appreciate it, definitely. IT,
I'll keep going with them.
PJ. Want to comment, Sconset Water,
I'll do that.
Christie. Airport,
I'll do that. Jill.
Jill, I'll back you up on that if no one else is.
I can.
Christie, okay, so I'll be the third man out alternate, third person out alternate.
Great.
Let's see, sewer.
Howard, I could do that.
Okay, thanks, Howard
I can back up on that.
and Jill. DPW, we're gonna have three. One is transportation.
Well, I'd like to do solid waste, but if you need somebody for that as well, I'm happy to do that too.
Okay, so Howard, I'm gonna put you down since
Okay.
people are clamoring for transportation.
Then I have a question actually about DPW.
Yeah,
I've kind of been, some of you know, I've been trying to, help with maybe more indoor recreation on the island and some of the changes. So I don't know if I have to recuse. I mean, there's no formal role. It's just me kind of. So I'd love to do DPW, but I don't know if that's appropriate.
okay, couple things. Thank you, Jill. Appreciate you bringing that up. So, my understanding, having watched a ton of those videos on open meeting and conflict of interest, as long as you don't have one, a financial interest, two, you can be fair and impartial, and three, in some instances, but broadly, whatever the topic is affects the general population. You're not required to recuse. It wouldn't hurt, when they come in, just to mention that, just to disclose on tape. As opposed to going that route, you can always call the state. They're on the web, they have a website and they can give you guidance over the phone. But I don't anticipate a problem. I'm sharing that information for others for future use too.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's fine. And I don't see anything coming up on that yet. So I'm just.
Okay.
letting
And
you
then
know.
the other part of that, Jill, is you would be, that would be DPW general, I believe.
Yeah, there's a lot more to DPW.
So I'll put Jill down on general. Anyone else? DPW,
So are you all set with transportation?
Howard might want to back up.
Sure.
Okay. Anyone else on DPW general? Okay. Solid waste, Howard, you mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else on solid waste?
I'll back up Howard because I'm on the long-term planning for solid waste, so.
Oh. Okay, great. Thanks, Brooke.
Good to have another expert.
And last is town admin.
I don't think it makes sense for select board member to be that one.
I'm sorry, Brooke, I couldn't hear you.
I said, I don't think it makes sense for a select board member to do that.
You said it, I didn't have to, thank you. I'll sign up for that. Okay, so those are the individuals who will meet with the respective department heads. What we'll do, just for purposes of clear communication now and avoiding issues in emails, I will send the list out and to Sue with the CC to the membership. And Brian, can we rely on your office to coordinate the initial meeting with the department heads?
You can rely on my office through Sue to send the department heads the name of the liaison.
Perfect. That's a great idea. I appreciate it.
Let them know that the liaisons will be contacting them.
Okay, I heard Charlie Brown school teacher, so I'm not quite sure, but it sounded like you're in the positive. I just can't hear you guys there.
He said he's gonna connect the department heads to the liaisons to schedule.
Okay, I got that part. Perfect. Thank you. We did the schedule. We're gonna move on now to establish a Rory revaluation work group. So basically what we're gonna do, the Rory is a ranking of relative importance. It is a process that we undertook and to systematize prioritizing the various priorities related to capital requests. If that's a mouthful, the math behind it is a lot more involved. What we're going to do is it's a two-part process. Each individual has an opportunity, each member of the committee has an opportunity now to weigh in and on the valuation from their own perspective, which they will utilize going forward for this budget season on capital requests. Those valuations will then go into a team number, and that will develop and inform our ranking of relative importance as a group. And towards the tail end of the process, we use that number to either advance things to the hopper, if you will, like a town meeting automatically, or if they're below a certain number based upon, some math and reasonableness, they automatically end up for discussion unless we all decide that they need to be advanced to an out year. There's not a quiz. You don't have to remember any of this. It's just an idea of what Rory, the ranking of relative importance, is about. So it's a process. Part of that process is you all understanding what the different criteria are. And what I'm looking to do, and I have a couple of volunteers, which I'll get to in a minute, is to map out what the relevance of the criteria are, define what those criteria mean. So we all have a common understanding of the words. And then when we sit down to do the valuations, we'll have that common understanding to work from. From that point on, the rankings and the valuations are purely subjective. And that's how we all get an opportunity to address our experience, knowledge, and any subjective opinion numerically through this system, as opposed to what we used to do was have many, many hours of discussion. That's not to suggest that discussion is foreclosed. This is just a kind of a guardrails, more of a tool as opposed to a guardrail for ranking these types of things. So we're going to get into that in more detail at the next.
So we're not
We'll
going to talk
establish
about
the
those
meeting
questions
next because
now.
there's some conflicts. Go ahead, Joe.
I'm sorry, honey. We're not going to go over any of those questions now.
No, what I wanted to do was establish a work group who's going to meet Tuesday, so that we can, and we're welcome to have any members, but what I reached out purely on scheduling matters to ask the core members being the members who were involved with Capcom when the Rory system was developed, to sit down and go through definitions. All the members are welcome to participate. It's going to be Tuesday at 1, and it will be a hybrid meeting. And the two members who will join me are PJ and Christy. So if you can attend, it would be helpful, probably towards the beginning of the meeting, just to map it out for your own understanding, to kind of listen in and audit the discussion. And then once we kind of resolve things between ourselves, pipe in on your own thoughts or questions.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who's that? I'm sorry.
PJ.
Hey, PJ.
I would encourage anybody who is available to try to be a part of that, because it does seem like every year on an annual basis, there is kind of informal conversations throughout the process of what the definitions of each of the Rory criteria are. And so it sounds like this is an effort to try to, better specify so that everybody is interpreting them the same, which then will allow everyone to have a little bit more of, higher integrity kind of definition and understanding of what they're ranking each application by. So would just encourage anybody that can make it to, because I do think that this is a very important stepping stone to the beginning of the process.
Point well taken. And actually, if you can't make it, never fear. The following meeting, which we're going to have to talk about because we have 2 members with a conflict, I believe, if I'm looking at the schedule correctly. The following meeting will be an opportunity for new members can attend the first meeting. If you haven't attended, or anyone who hasn't attended, we will be going through Rory, the form itself, getting questions answered if you have any, and then we'll be online to do the ranking of, I got to get a hold of our buddy in Singapore, the mathematician. And we're going through a exercise to actually fill out your evaluations in the forms. So please come if you can Tuesday. If you can't, you'll get another bite at the apple on Thursday. Which Thursday is the question? So I'm thinking that, given the fact that, Barry, did I understand correctly? You have a conflict also the 3rd Thursday?
Yeah, the 3rd Thursday of every month, I'm chairing the Cannabis Advisory Committee, and that just happens to meet at 1 o'clock as well.
Okay.
Sorry.
I had hoped to do this. Wait, am I looking at this? I'm sorry, I may be saying Thursday and I'm meeting Tuesday. Yeah, the 17th.
Mhm.
So that will be the 3rd Thursday. So I guess the question will go to Brian and Sue. My concern is if we put this off to our flex date placeholder, which is the 29th, it's going to create issues for Plum just to be able to change the table values. We'll already have fire and school coming through, and we'll be behind on Rory's. Is it possible for you guys to check into, instead of our meeting on the 17th for the Rory revaluation work group, where people are putting in their valuations, that we would do that on the 29th, which is a Tuesday, and then Plum would input. So, I mean, they're basically losing 5 days on the schedule. Or we could do it Thursday, the 24th, and we would have to reschedule fire and school.
Well, the other thing, Mr. Chair, is the fact that we are,
Brian, is that you? I'm sorry.
yes, it is.
I can assure you, you won't be perceived as yelling if you speak up.
Okay, well, what I was saying is that, the other issue that we're gonna run into is that town administration is actually starting to Rory all the project. And we've completed reviews of capital with departments. And we're already starting to Rory them so that we can actually give you you have the list for the actual ones that town administration is most likely recommending in advance. So the sooner you make any changes to the Rory evaluations, the better, because we're gonna be starting very soon.
Sure, no, I get it. Again, another point well taken. Our work isn't going to affect your work. Said another way is unless you guys want to go through the process with us to update how you perceive the numbers, your interface and the numbers underlying within the tables won't change.
Okay, so you're not gonna change the criteria this year then, right?
No, we're not. It's too late. I think the hope is next year. Part of the reason we're getting a late start on this is because the appointment process timeline. So between the select board and NPNEDC, it was the last week of July before we knew who our members were. So, next year, I think it will be an opportune time. Hopefully we'll have continuation of members. And what Brian and I are talking about, everyone, is adding some additional criteria that meet with the Mass DOR compact suggestions that the town adopted. So, for instance, funding sources may become one of the elements that we put into the valuation. But Brian, we're going to put that off for now.
That's fine. Then we shouldn't have a problem if we start internally with town admin ranking the projects sooner than we have in the past. That's fine.
Okay, and then onto the matter of when we meet as a group to accomplish that task at our end in order to provide the information to Plus, is Tuesday. Tuesday, the 29th. Does that work? Or, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to discern the schedule and look at the calendar. I can hold two competing thoughts in my mind, but looking at a calendar is obviously one of the simpler ones and it never works out. So Thursday, August 24th, I think Brian and Sue would be ideal for us, but we have fire and school scheduled. So could we bump them to our October flex date?
Yeah, Sue, can you let fire and school know that we're gonna move them?
Yes,
Okay, sounds good. Sorry to be doing this back office stuff with you guys. It's just been busy for everyone. So Thursday, August 24th, we will modify our schedule to reflect that we'll be meeting to do the revaluations. And what that means is everybody has the 17th off. No Capcom meeting. And then I'll make a modification to the schedule and send that out. Sue, I'm sorry, did you have something?
yeah, I just wanted to confirm, so August 17th is now canceled. August 24th will be the replacement date. And if I understood correctly, the meeting on the 15th is now hybrid because you had confirmed this morning that that was in person, and I need to post that tomorrow.
No, I thought I got back to you and said, accept, change it to hybrid.
Okay,
I may have misunderstood, but yeah, that should be a hybrid if we can. I think it'll be easier for people to interact. I prefer that it be in person, but if someone can't be there, if a member wants to audit, yeah, that would be a good change.
Yep.
And last, just on schedule, and then I'll take comments and questions, we can change it. What that also does is then that gives us Tuesday, August 29th as a flex date placeholder that if we need to reconvene to wrap up the revaluations as a group, we can do that before getting it off to Plum. And was somebody in the room commenting?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Christie has had his hand up.
I'm sorry, I couldn't see him.
That's why I was letting you know.
I hate Zoom.
No, I just,
Strongly.
Stephen, I
Go
was
ahead,
just,
Christie.
you've already resolved it. I was going to just put in that I also had a conflict on the 17th. So that's resolved.
Okay, that's resolved.
you.
Good. Thank you. We've got the work group. I don't think we need to name people. Please attend, and it'll be a hybrid. Data next meeting then will be Thursday, August 24th. As opposed to the 15th. I'm sorry.
I thought the 15th was staying in place.
Well,
I'm sorry, the regular meeting will be the 24th.
Gotcha.
The work group is meeting on the 15th. So two different meetings.
Stephen,
Purposes.
And Mr. Chair,
Brooke,
if I may ask that the invitation be amended to reflect the anticipated time we're actually going to be here. The Zoom invitation, the actual calendar invitation, so it just populates my calendar.
fair
appropriately.
enough. Sue's, you're on that. Okay,
Yep,
thank
I'm
you,
gonna fix
Sue.
that.
And then Christie,
for the meeting on the 15th, does that need to be posted if a quorum of members show up?
we are posting it, and Sue's actually gonna modify it. I must have misunderstood, but it's gonna end up being a hybrid. So people who wanna listen in can, and if they've got questions, they can ask. But I prefer Christie and PJ kind of as the core that we be in the same room.
Yeah, I will be there in person. So.
I'll be
Okay,
there.
thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, anything else? Okay, purely housekeeping meeting today. Get us going on the right track. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming and with that, seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Christie, was that you
PJ,
on your motion?
I,
PJ, question?
no, I made the
Oh, your
motion.
motion? Okay. On the dual motion?
Aye.
PJ,
Yep.
Howard,
Aye.
Brooke,
aye.
Barry,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Jill, sorry.
Hi, thanks.
Okay.
Aye.
Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.